So there's a Battlefield playtest right around the corner. It's going to be this Friday, June 27th. And for the first time, Battlefield Labs is going alpha from pre-alpha. But what happens with this alpha? There's a new patch. It's probably around 13 gigabytes, something like that, according to the leaks. And there's some things being added to the game as well. But we have so much more news, guys, about the next Battlefield game, some leaks and some more new stuff. So what we're going to talk about today is going to be some new info on the class system. There's an intended single player video that was found in the game files. We've got a new build for Battlefield Labs that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what it might add to the game and those kind of stuff. We also have NATO sub-factions that are leaked as well. We're going to talk about that. And finally, we're going to take a look at what One Battlefield channel, it's a Telegram channel, what they think about the next playtests, what they think about the Battlefield Labs new patch and the new build that's coming out for this Friday playtest. Because these guys have been leaking so much stuff, they probably know a thing or two that we don't know. So that's going to be what we talk about today. Do make sure to go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the next Battlefield game. Let me know what you think about the video, the leaks that we're going to talk about, and all those kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure there will be some sort of hot discussion down there. For some reason, that's always the case in my comment section. You know, there's either some people arguing over one thing, or sometimes, you know, the entire comment section just disagrees with me, which I'm completely getting used to, and it's going to be interesting down in the comment section. So do make sure to go down there and let me know what you think. And without further ado, guys, let's just go ahead and start the video. So about this new class system info, there's this gunslinger dude that actually works with EA, probably an EA partner, stuff like that, or maybe even an employee. I have no idea, but this comes from Discord, and he says, quote, "As we're continuing our tests, we will have a follow-up on the classes topic in the near future. We can continue discussions and feedback around classes and other topics in #Battlefield Labs discussion, and we'll likely create a new dedicated channel when we have the next blog going out to you." So there is going to be a blog about the class system, probably class system part 2, because we've got the part 1, and part 1, believe it or not, actually made some sort of huge explosion and divided the entire community into 2 parts. The first part is a group of people that believe that the weapons should be locked to classes, which in my opinion is the true definition of a Battlefield game. Like it or not, this has always been the case, and in my opinion it should stay that way. And the other part is a group of the people who believe that a locked class system is just not making sense anymore in 2025, and they actually believe that the weapons should be open to classes, and that actually was the last blog officially actually released. After that, they went completely radio silent, and apparently the outrage actually got to them for some reason. So according to this, we need to be waiting on a new blog actually explaining a little bit more about this class system. However, there's a new Battlefield Labs patch that's been released. The list of changes is not yet known. The update size is about 13 gigabytes, and this patch actually contains Battle Royale files. So the watermark has changed from Labs to Battlefield Labs Alpha. So officially, we are entering Alpha phase. So we're not pre-Alpha on Battlefield Labs anymore. And that means there will be some new game modes, new features, I don't know, maybe new weapons. I don't think so. But there will be some new things going on when a game goes from pre-Alpha to Alpha. And based on this, we're getting Battle Royale files. So maybe this Friday, people are going to test Battle Royale. You know, who knows? However, the exact changes with this patch are basically not noted. Nobody knows about that, but you know, we're just guessing, right? And apparently the tests are slowly starting to shift from Conquest and Breakthrough all the way to Battle Royale, which is going to be interesting. However, Temporal actually brought us some interesting info, and we've got all the weapons this time. All of the weapons for the next Battlefield game that are actually in the Battlefield Labs client. So we've got 52 weapons now, going from assault rifles. We've got the 6P67 Cord, the latest version of the AK-971, Ace-32, G36, G3A4, and all the way to Type 20. We've got Scar L85A3 and the HK433. For carbines, we've got AK-205, HK417A2. I have no idea why the HK417 is here, because that weapon is a DMR. That's been the case in the previous data mines, and in my opinion, that's some sort of problem on the DICE's end. We have to wait and see when they're going to fix that. We've got the M41 all the way to the XM7. For the PDWs, as you can see, we've got the APC-10, the MP5, MP7, P90, all the way to the Vector. We've got an SL9 here, which apparently is a fictional firearm. Nobody knows what that is. LMGs, secondaries. For LMGs, we got the M240L all the way to the M249, M60, MG4, and the XM250. Secondaries, we don't have a lot. We've got the G22, M18. We've got the 5.7 and the M45A1. Some other stuff as well. For bolt actions, we've got the M2010. We've got the MRAD. That's Barrett MRAD. Barrett M98B. You guys remember that from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. We've got the SV98M, the Minifix. For the DMRs, we've got the M39 SVCH, which is the exact equivalent for the SVK in Battlefield 2042. We've got the SVDM and the LMR27, another fictional firearm. And for shotguns, we've got the Saiga, M1014, DP12, and some other stuff. Of course, we can't go over all of the weapons in this list because it's going to be too much. It needs a whole new video going through all of this, honestly. So if you guys want to check it out, just pause the video, check it out yourself, and move on. Apparently, we're going to have some player card. Now, I can't really show it to you because the video is going to be taken down. This is obviously a leak from the Battlefield Labs client, but apparently, we're going to have player cards. We're going to have some custom emblems and those kind of stuff. Should make sense with the custom patches that goes on your uniform. Some people really like, you know, customizing and personalizing all those kind of stuff. I really like to be able to use my own patches on my uniform. It's going to be really sick. I gotta say, I really like that. The new Labs build also saw the addition of fighter models for single player and new voices for soldiers. The source here is Vanik, but I just got this from the One Battlefield Telegram channel. Apparently, we're going to have some new player models as well as some voices for soldiers. In my opinion, the voice lines for Battlefield Labs are just completely ridiculous. There's no masculinity to it. There's nothing Battlefield-like to it, you know. 2042 was enough, to be honest. We need to go back to something like Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4. Let's be honest, even Battlefield 3 was peak. So, in my opinion, we should go back there. We don't really need this ridiculous voices that we hear in Battlefield Labs. In my opinion, that is one of the weak spots of Labs. You know, we've got very good environment, we've got really nice graphics, the movement looks to be on point, it looks to be something like Battlefield 5's movement with some tweaks, but honestly, the soldier voices and the comms voice is just not on point, to be honest, and it really needs to change. However, let's take a look at the factions and the sub-factions that we've got here. So for NATO Alliance, we've got the United Albion, Royal Fusilier, UK. We've got the Coyote Squad, 91st Cavalry, USA. And finally, the Desert Locusts, 47th Infantry, USA. So basically, in Battlefield 6, NATO is going to be made of UK and US, and that's going to be it. Now for Pax Armada, things are getting interesting. We've got Espada Coalition Marine Corps fighting in Tajikistan. We've got Fire Team Yaga, Special Operations Forces formed in the Balkan region. And we've got Kahina Unit, combat support troops gathered from North Africa countries. These are going to be the sub-factions for the next game. Now, in my opinion, this really doesn't matter. Let's be honest. Maybe it is important to single-player campaign. There's definitely a story going on there with these sub-factions. But taking an honest look here, for the multiplayer, apart from adding weapons and vehicles that some people might like to see related to these countries, it really doesn't matter. Like, you can have a weapon from China which has nothing to do with the single player campaign of the game. It's a multiplayer game, right? You can add weapons from China. Obviously, China has no place here, neither in Pax Armada nor in NATO, definitely. So we see Russian weapons here. Like AK-205 is a Russian weapon, and we've got so much more Russian weapons there as well. So in multiplayer, it doesn't really matter what sub-factions we have. All we need is some interesting uniforms that actually make sense. Some player models have been leaked. I can't show it to you because the video is going to be taken down, but like it or not, I've said this before and I'll say it again, the player models still don't look on point. I know this is a pre-alpha, alpha stage game, but this needs to be addressed. To make your game look cool, you need some good uniforms, especially if you're returning to the roots. We're gonna need those stuff. Don't, in my opinion, focus too much on these sub-factions. Apart from the single-player campaign, there's really nothing to worry about when it comes to these sub-factions. So let's leave it at that. And finally, let's take a look at what One Battlefield channel has to say about what's going on with the Battlefield Labs inside, because these people have been leaking so much stuff, and in my opinion, they know a thing or two that we might not know, you know. So let's take a look and see what they have to say. So far, there's a feeling that as a result of testing, no changes were made to the game, which the developers would talk about. Moreover, throughout all sessions, the focus of the tests remained the movement. New focuses and mechanics were not particularly added. In addition, during all this time, we saw the changelog exactly once. So that's right, we only saw one changelog and that was it, and it's been a complete month of radio silent from DICE. Of course, the tests clearly helped to fix errors, significant roughness, and also debug the servers. However, this is where it all ends for now. It is surprising not only the lack of reaction to feedback, but also something else. EA created a huge hype with these tests. A lot of gameplay has leaked online. Now there are closed menus, plus some builds show that they put things there to be found, like the single player demo. Now I can't show you this single player demo actually because, well, obviously the video is going to be taken down, but these people are putting those files there to be found. And this has been a controversial thing that people were mentioning from day one, that it is impossible for all these people to leak stuff. And EA is not doing anything about it. Maybe they actually want things to be leaked, you know? And apparently they're now putting these files out there for us to find them, which is very interesting. And in this demo that I've seen, and you've probably seen at this point, there's a group of 4 actually running. They want to get on a truck. There are fighter jets flying over them and those kind of stuff, you know? Nothing important, it's just a demo with placeholders, but it's something that exists, right? At the same time, EA does not use this hype at all. All blogs are rare, there are no teasers, there is no development of the labs program itself. It feels like the hype around the game is at its maximum at the moment, but at the same time, it gradually fades away over time, precisely because there are no new tests, no real changes, and new blogs. So after that last class system blog, there was a huge outrage. A lot of people actually, you know, started arguing. Reddit was blown away. There was all sorts of videos right there on YouTube and other social media, even Twitter, and they actually kind of stepped back, started reviewing what's going on, started taking feedback. I'm pretty sure there are so many people out there in DICE actually reading these posts, watching these kind of videos, and trying to figure out what the community actually wants. So in my opinion, we have to give them some time, and there will be some interesting news coming in the future. So that was about this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this video was helpful, somewhat informative. I just tried to review everything that's going on with the Battlefield Labs before this first alpha playtest this Friday, June 27th. Keep you guys updated. So thank you all guys for watching, and until next time guys, stay cool.